It's the best football show in Africa. It is the Daily Countdown on Nigeria Superfans Forum. Welcome from wherever you are joining us around the world. My name is Oluwafemi Ashaolu. Today we continue our Daily Countdown to the kickoff of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. It is 5 days. 5 days to the kickoff of that tournament in Qatar. And African teams, of course, they are scaling up their preparation for the Mondial. Senegal, they began campaign in France, Paris, France, and there was no sight of Sadio Mane. And of course, in Ghana, Otto Addo, at this moment now, I don't know. I don't want to say the guy must be crestfallen because the injury crisis rocking the Black Stars of Ghana, Richard Ofori, and of course Joseph Wollacot. They are both now doubtful for the tournament. So that will form the crux of our discussion on the show today. Once again, welcome. Kayode Ogundare joins us via video from Qatar. Maybe Kayode Ogundare, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Remy. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so finally, we're able to drag James back to the studio. James, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Remy.
Were you in London to watch Arsenal's game? Because you've been missing for 2 days now.
Just, it's about work. So
okay,
good
so,
that I'm back here.
All right, so welcome back. Let's get started, James. We've been talking about Otto Addo's list. In fact, as a matter of fact, we need to emphasize that we're expecting that list today. So as soon as that list drops, we are going to let you know our take on it. It's going to drop today, November 14. And because today is also the final day from FIFA for teams to submit their final 26-man list for the tournament. So as soon as that video drops in Ghana, of course, we will bring you our take on it. So James, let's talk about this. We'll be talking about injury crisis, players dropping like flies. Those are not dropping like flies. Of course, they are nursing one injury on the other. And now, in Ghana, remember the injury scare from Sadio Mane last week. Now it is two key players, two key goalkeepers. First choice and second choice, Joseph Wollacot and of course Richard Ofori. Both of them were not in action over the weekend. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Ofori didn't play for Orlando Pirates in their Carling Cup label in South Africa. James, I do not want to guess how Otto Addo will be feeling right now. Yeah,
it won't be in the right frame of mind because these are players who he is banking on. Now they are just dropping like flies, which means the injury bug that is affecting the rest of the most teams going to the World Cup is also affecting Ghana. And I think among all the African teams, they are the only one who has been, getting these injury issues, from Ofori to Wollacot, then Iddrisu, Baba.
I think a number of them, we have a number of players who are also out. But this particularly your first and second choice goalkeeper being doubtful for the tournament.
It's sad because now you now be forced to bring in people who have not been part of the team. I now have to force, maybe the third choice now will have to become the number one because he has been part of the team. So for me, it's not good at all because this kind of setup, it disrupts the organization. You now have to start thinking of ways to come up with new formations, and so it's going to be very disruptive. Let's just hope that it doesn't affect the team much. This will now be good news for some players who feel they didn't stand a chance of going to the World Cup. As it is now, they will have to be considered for a place in the team. And like I said, the list is coming out today. And I just want to imagine the reaction from Ghanaians. So for me, like I said, it's not good news at all. We've seen top players like Pogba, Kante. Now Sadio Mane is not even a guarantee. So for me, let's just hope that we don't hear another injury. But once they announce the list and whoever gets injured again now, it will be very difficult to replace that person.
Kayode, I know you can see the future because you've told some things on this show and they came to pass. I know you are clairvoyant. I want you to tell us if you feel Joseph Wollacot will be able to make the squad because according to the report coming from Ghana, both of them, I'm talking about Richard Ofori because Wollacot suffered a broken finger and Ofori, we do not know if he'll be able to make it. So now Otto Addo is left with maybe Lawrence Atigi and I'm talking about Ibrahim Danlad, the Ashanti Kotoko goalkeeper, who is also the goalkeeper of the Black Meteors, the Ghana's under-23 national team. But Kayode is certainly not what Otto Addo planned for.
No, I feel very, very sorry for Otto Addo at this moment. I feel very, very sorry for Ghana. I feel sorry for the Black Stars. There are millions of fans all over the world. This is a situation nobody ever prays for. It's like Otto Addo's world is falling apart practically with less than a week to the start of the World Cup. Nobody in his worst nightmare would have thought something like this was going to happen. Femi, if this happened to one person, then you could say this is an incident. It happening to two goalkeepers, the first two goalkeepers at the same time. Now which? Now which? That was
Kayode, please just hold on. See, some Ghanaians I saw online this morning before we came on the show. Some were saying that it is juju.
well, juju to help who? Or to disorganize who? For me, any juju that cannot help the cause of your country is not a juju that is well thought out. It's so unfortunate, I must say. It's not a laughing matter for me. I'm very, very grieved in my heart because these players have they've prepared, they've mentally prepared to be at the World Cup. If anybody had told Wollacot a week ago or 3 days ago that he wasn't going to be at the World Cup, he would say it's a lie. Richard Ofori, nobody would have thought he wasn't going to be at the World Cup, even if he's going to be backup goalkeeper to Wollacot. And this happening to the two of them, first two goalkeepers at the same time, is something that nobody bargained for, and it's so heart-rending that this has happened. I feel the most pain for Otto Addo because he's the man who has to crank up his magic juice and make sure that he gets a goalkeeper that can be mentally prepared in the next 2 3 days to be ready for the World Cup. But Femi, on the flip side, if you ask me, every on the tail of every disappointment is a tinge of blessing. This could be a blessing for some other people out there that we have not even thought about. We might be having an unlikely hero come up because of the availability of Wollacot and Ofori. Let me cast your mind back to 1990 at Italia 90. The first just goalkeeper of Argentina was Neri Pompidou, who was their World Cup winning goalkeeper 4 years earlier. In 1990 against Cameroon, he was in goal against Cameroon. We lost, he considered that goal, but he was still the first choice goalkeeper. In the second game against Russia, he got injured. A certain Sergei Goykochia came in and he became the hero. He took them to the final, Femi, for me, and he was only beaten by one penalty, Andre Bremer's penalty in the final. He saved penalties against Yugoslavia in the quarterfinals and penalties against Italy in the semi-finals to see the team to the final. He became an instant hero. So who knows what God is preparing? This could actually be a blessing in disguise for some other people. So as much as we grieve that these players would not be at the World Cup, we should also retain a semblance of hope that something good might be in the corner. That's what I choose to live by, Femi.
All right. Kayode, please stay with us. James, but in the middle of this, Stephen Appiah, former Black Stars captain, thinks that the team can still do well at the tournament. But I felt that if your first choice goalkeeper, who was, with the team all through the qualifiers, in fact, as a matter of fact, Otto Addo shows a lot of confidence in Joseph Wollacot. But if you not be at the tournament, I think to some extent, it might affect the player psychologically, especially the defense.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is somebody who was part of the team, and it was at the AFCON, which the Black Stars did very poorly. He was able to pick themselves up and qualify in the playoffs against Nigeria. Stephen Appiah, this is what you expect from a former player. This is somebody who wants the best for the team. He was part of the team, part of the World Cup squad in 2006, 2010. So he knows what it takes to be at the World Cup, play at the highest level. So these are the kind of things they need now. Somebody will come out and start, encouraging them because they are a bit down now. But they don't need all the unnecessary criticism. They need players who will come and give them that boost, that confidence. Just like what Kayode said. You never can tell. Somebody might just spring up. We are talking about the parties, the Ayew brother, but who knows? Somebody can just come and become the hero, So the pressure will be there because for somebody who has never been to the World Cup before, especially in the goalkeeping department, that's a very sensitive area. You're now putting somebody who now feels the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, the likes of Bruno Fernandes and the rest, So, that person that's going to come up now, that person needs a lot of talking to. You need to be psyched up seriously, So for me, what they need now, injury is part of the game, like we always say. So they need people who will encourage them, tell them you can do this. I know that if they get a good, decent result against Portugal, I mean, I think it's going to boost their confidence going into going further in the group stage. So, like I said, injury, part of the game, you can't rule it out. But how you react to it is another thing.
Okay, so, and coincidentally, of course, the camp of the Black Stars will be opening today in the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi precisely. And captain, of course, we're talking about Ayew. He will be the first to land in the camp because, of course, he's based in Qatar. So he just traveled to the UAE because certainly he has to be the #1 player on that 26-man list. Kayode, let's talk about Senegal. The campaign, of course, also for the Senegal Lions has opened in Paris, but I saw a couple of players in camp. Sadio Mane wasn't there. I think that also reminds me of the quality that might likely be missing. Even if all these players eventually made the World Cup, I think the quality would drop to some extent. But the bottom line is Sadio Mane is not yet in camp. Remember what happened to him last week?
Yeah, according to the FIFA Secretary General, they are still applying African insurance to cure him of his of his injuries. But for me, even without this problem of injuries to players, I foresaw. Don't forget, I said this last week. I foresaw that this World Cup could drop in quality because it is happening right in the middle of the European season. So for me, a lot of players would not bring their A game to this competition. Already, you saw the weekend games that we saw at club level. A lot of players were trying to be extra careful in order not to pick up injuries. At the time, during the Manchester United Fulham game, there was a time that Marcus Rashford fell awkwardly to the ground and he seemed to sprain his shoulders like this. Everybody held their breath because they felt, is this the moment when he's knocked out of the World Cup too? A lot of players had that fear going into the weekend. Now that they still have the fears going to cramping for the World Cup proper that will start during the week. For me, this is a World Cup like no other. So I will not be bothered about the standard. I just want a winner to emerge. I want this World Cup to come and go so that we can get back to our lives because it's taking too much toll on everybody. It's taking too much toll on everybody. Imagine the number of players that are going to miss this World Cup through injury. Femi, that is like a generation of players that will be missing the World Cup. It's so sad. It's so heartbreaking. So let it just come and go. I beg. I can't deal with this. I cannot.
Of course, you know, this World Cup is trade by serious controversies. Remember that a couple of football legends have said they are going to boycott this World Cup, as in they won't be in Qatar, where naturally or normally they would have gone to a World Cup venue, but they said they won't go to World Cup because of human rights issues and all that. Okay, anyway, this is where we have to draw the curtain. But James, I hope, will you be expecting a bombshell in, or maybe a surprise, a shock of some sort in Otto Addo's list as we wait for it today?
No. I think the main guys, apart from those who are injured, I think the main guys are okay and shouldn't be much of a surprise.
Why are you going to feel if you see Wollacot and Ofori in the list?
I'll be shocked because but the thing they did not really come out to confirm. So hopefully, just pray that maybe a miracle will happen and we'll eventually see them in the list.
Okay, because we've seen national teams, including players who are injured on their list, meaning that let's just go. You know, it's like when you smuggle someone in. That is what we've seen so far. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's daily countdown of Nigeria Super Fans Forum. Kayode Ogundare, thank you for joining us via video today.
Thank you, Femi. It's a pleasure. I look forward to the Ghana list later today. I hope we get pleasantly surprised. I hope a new hero is born for Ghana and for African football at this World Cup.
Okay, so our fans, all right. So our fans, please stay tuned. As soon as that list draw, of course, we'll be bringing you our take on it. We'll look at it. We'll look at what intentions Otto Addo have for the Black Stars at the World Cup. So until then, it will be more later in the day. Until then, keep fit. Until we see you. Bye for now.